YouTube? Capital G here. Got an absolutely amazing grind duel for you guys to check out. This is going to be the grindiest duel you've seen in a very long time, but it's going to have some crazy hype stuff where you're probably not even going to be able to follow what's going on. I mean, me, as I commentate this, I might not even be able to follow it, but we have side frames and they're going to be dueling against 10 Yi. Shout outs to my boy ChainLanks, the 10 Yi master, and both of these hands look incredibly strong for going seconds. I think that both players need to be feeling very confident, and one thing is for certain, there will be some demises activated because they both opened with it. Let's see what's going to happen. Demise is going to be the first play for the side frame player. He's going to have that be Ash, but oh, he comes over the top with a Gamma. Now, I personally believe that this is one of the most devastating things in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is when you activate a major draw card as your first play and your opponent Ash Blossoms it, and then you're able to Gamma the Ash Blossom. I generally think that it wins you the duel because not only do you have your draw card resolved, you generally are going to be able to get an Omega on field and take out a card from your opponent's hand. Unless that was like Extravagance, you know, maybe you used Extravagance and you banished the Omega, you can generally just win the game from this play alone because you get your draws, you get your free copy of Omega, you take a card out of your opponent's hand. Now this I didn't like at all. He goes, instead of for Omega, he goes for side frame Lord Lambda. I just did not like this play. I think you always go for Omega. You snipe an additional card out of your opponent's hand, and you get not only that card, but you get information. You've basically won. He doesn't even use his normal summon, by the way, which side frames don't really need that much outside of Cyber's Gadget. Here's why I didn't really like that play. So he gets hit with Lightning Storm. He is going to use another copy of Gamma on the 10 Yi, but his opponent's going to Ash that again. That's going to be a recurring theme in this duel. Ash getting, or Gamma getting Ashed, and Ash getting Gamma and all that crazy stuff. His opponent's going to be able to pretty much fight back and get back in this duel. Now he still has to deal with the Gamma because if you Ash Gamma, they can still just keep using it, but perfectly fine. He is going to be able to resolve his desires, and guess what? Now he's able to, you know, basically fight over this board. He gets rid of his opponent's Lambda, which basically didn't do anything on the field at all. I guess it allowed him to use another hand trap, another side frame from his hand, but if he had Omega'd him, he would have had an empty field and been able to do that same play anyways. And then of course the Gamma ends in the or the Gamma banishes itself. And this is why, again, I think you always go for the Omega play. Take the card out of your opponent's hand. Maybe you get lucky and you banish the Lightning Storm, then you know it's coming. Now he is finally going to be able to get the side frame circuit, which is, you know, the field spell that allows the deck to actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! During the opponent's turn. And he's not really going to do anything. He's actually just going to get rid of his monsters on field so that he could potentially use the beta to, I guess, stop an attack, kill a monster, and be able to synchro summon a 7 during his opponent's turn, which is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go for Zeta. He will, I believe, activate the effect of Zeta, but that's not going to work. You have to watch out when you're playing 10 Yis because they do get protection from the graveyard, and a lot of times you don't see it coming. The red 10 Yi, the fire one, does have targeting protection, so bye-bye Zeta. Even though Zeta can pay for itself, it's still going to be destroyed, but I'm pretty sure he'll use Zeta and get the beta back to his hand. He kind of has to use beta right now. He's a little bit on life support. He is going to use beta once again. Looks like he used Overload first, but he is going to use beta, and this is actually pretty cheeky. His opponent's going to Lightning Storm him a second time. Feels bad, man, getting Lightning Stormed at the beginning of the duel and then also later in the duel. Overload is going to be used to get side frame circuit. The one thing about Overload is even though it floats from the graveyard, you do kind of have to be careful because you want your Overloads on field because they serve as spot removal, and that can be very important. Now, neither player is really doing all that much right now. We're going to probably see a blind Cosmic Cyclone against the face down. It's impermanence, which means the column placement doesn't honestly matter in this point. He's going to go ahead and attack, but oh, gets wrecked by the green 10 Yi. That's the one that can take 1500 attack from one of your opponent's attacking monsters. Again, when you're playing against a 10 Yi build, check their graveyard, people. Anyways, called by the grave was drawn and loaded up. He's going to set it. No attack with Land Phalanx. I guess he's really got beta on the brain. Now, this is where the duel is going to stall out because anytime Mystic Mine is put on the field, I basically mentally check out of these duels. I'm like, oh God, it's going to get really boring. But luckily, it's only going to be on the field for a couple of turns. I was like, oh, thank God. They're going to completely ruin this duel with Mystic Mine. He takes it off the field of his own volition, which thank goodness, because that would have killed this duel. And now it looks like he is trying to go for the kill, but all right, well, not enough damage. I thought maybe he was going to drop beta. He opts not to. I guess he figures I'm not going to use beta until I absolutely have to cap G. And I think the duel is just about going to heat up in the following turns. Yeah, now he's going to start using beta. He is going to allow his opponent. This is interesting because now both decks are kind of in a tight spot. Every time he summons a Cyframe monster, he will allow his opponent to draw 2 cards using the Cyframe or using the 10 Yi field spell. So now it's kind of rough on Cyframes because every time you want to summon a 10 Yi or one of those Cyframe monsters, your opponent's going to draw 2 cards. He tried to use Zeta there once again, being denied by the red 10 Yi, the one that stops targeting. And when he tries to activate the effect, oh my god, this is the crazy chain. When he tries to activate the effect of Zeta, his opponent uses Called by the Grave, which opts him to respond with Delta to the Called by the Grave. His opponent uses Ash on the Data or Delta, and then he uses Gamma on the Ash. Yeah, this was the part where you just kind of lose track of what the hell is going on. We got 5 different chain links. I don't know what's happening. I just know he's going to have a bunch of monsters at the end of this, and his opponent will draw 2 cards as well. Now he tries to go for the 10 Yi synchro monster, but his opponent says, how dare you, scrub? How dare you summon my 10 Yi monster on your field? I'm going to have to Nibiru you. It's always awesome when you're able to Nibiru your opponent. He has 2 copies of Nibiru, by the way. And I think that's it's not looking so good. He is going to use beta, but I just don't feel like he has enough damage, or no, excuse me, he has enough offense to actually get rid of this guy. See, this is why sometimes you need overload. I said that just a minute ago. Sometimes you need overload on the field so that you can actually get rid of your opponent's monsters without having to rely on monster effects. So he's gonna go for Zeta, and still not using Zeta's effect. Okay, maybe he's just going to attack. Fair enough, but he cannot seem to get this damn Berserker of the 10 Yi off the field. It's going to be attacked, and the Zeta is going to die. I feel like he's going to use Zeta one more time. It'll probably be met with Called by the Grave, which might opt out. Yeah, he's going to use the Delta in his hand, but he just can't get over this thing. This is the one problem Cyframes have sometimes. Actually, you know what he should use? I'm not sure why he doesn't do it. No, I think it's because the monsters in his hand aren't that big. What he needs to do is he needs to attack, and he needs to use Cyframe Circuit, the little honest ability that's built into it. He needs to use it and get rid of the Epsilon, because Epsilon is not that many decks play a whole bunch of trap cards. 10 Yi don't really play that many trap cards. He's going to put Overload back into his graveyard. He's going to opt to use the effect of the Omega, and I think what's going to happen is I think he's just going to run out of gas. Oh, by the way, when he did go for Nibiru, nice Black Rose, by the way, when he did go for Nibiru, the reason the Nibiru was not summoned is because I believe that the 10 Yi synchro monster actually chained its effects and destroyed the Nibiru in hand. So that chain was honestly just kind of nuts. But ultimately, we get to the point where he cannot kill this damn Berserker of the 10 Yi. Kind of crazy that this duel with all these hand traps and all of these effect monsters and normal monsters being summoned on both players' side. Well, the 10 Yi guy didn't really summon any normal monsters, more or less non-effect monsters. The duel kind of boiled down to this big, beefy, non-effect monster boy just smacking around the Cyframe player. I could have told him that this card was going to be dead, but personally, I believe that if he would have went for Omega turn 1, I think he would have blew him out. I think he would have ended up hitting a card and still being able to use a Gamma if he needed to. I just feel like he would have won the duel. Anyways, hopefully you guys did enjoy that nice little grindy duel. If you did enjoy the duel, give the video a thumbs up so that YouTube can show my video to somebody who is not you. And yeah, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos. And you know what? Because ad revenue is so terrible right now and we YouTubers need the money, 10 minutes it is for the extra ad revenue. So this is what the Cyframe deck looks like on paper. And I'm definitely feeling the build. I like these cards, Psychic Field Zone and Psychic Path. They're both like situational cards, but they feel fantastic when you're able to resolve them. Psychic Field Zone basically allows you to use, it's like a 1-card synchro summon. You do have to summon the monster in defense mode, but the Cyframe monsters are quick effects, so usually that's not a problem. And then the Psychic Path is just a card. It's very similar to like recycling batteries, if I'm not mistaken. It just lets you get 2 of your Cyframes from your graveyard and just add them to your hand, so that can be 2 more hand traps or 2 more 1-for-1s. I've never ran Demise of the Land in Cyframes, although when I was playing Cyframes, Metaverse was at 3, so I can kind of understand it. Cyframes, like in theory, basically when it comes to like the field spells, Circuits and Mystic Mine are both cards that are good, activating during your opponent's turn. Mystic Mine for obvious reasons, and then with the Cyframe Circuit, you get the Synchro Summon during your opponent's turn. And then when it comes to the 10 Yi, this is pretty basic, to be honest. I've seen some of ChainLanks builds where he runs like Vanity's Fiend and stuff like that. Looks like this guy opted for, I mean, this version looks like it can go first or go second, because you do have 3 very powerful hand traps and Nibiru, plus you have Ash and Impermanence going second, and then you also have like your Lightning Storms. But going first, you know, 10 Yi can do a little bit of stuff. Well, no, I'd argue this build going first probably isn't as powerful, because Vanity's Fiend is like nuts going first. But you know, if you're going first, you are able to hopefully get to this damn field spell, because you're going to need it against any combo deck if you're going to stand a chance. This card, of course, if you do control a non-effect monster and your opponent special summons an effect monster, then you get to draw 2 cards, and then hopefully you can draw into one of these powerful cards. Anyways, the decks will be in the description below if you guys are interested. Thank you guys for watching, as always.